The human being was made to question his reality. Here is provided a forum that invades and rejects the mainstream media, where ideas and topics of interest outside of the norm are free to flourish and grow in the strangeness and with objectivity that is their right. Join us now for a discussion from somewhere between the real and the imagined, between outer and inner space, where things just odd enough to be the truth have a place to live, breathe, and make their home. Recorded live from the jagged edge of reality, this is JAG Radio.
You better believe it is. I very much appreciate that gesture, gentlemen. Two of the guys gave me the gunshot, meaning go on the air, which I very much like. And you are on the jagged edge of reality, and you are on the Super Audio Network, and you are at the show where guys get together to talk about guy things. Oh, but we are not talking giant octopus or the Olsen twins. Oh no, we are talking any number of other ostentatious oddities. I am Alex Martinelli here with J.D. Marcel, George Antonio, and engineer Dre Day All Day. What is up, everybody?
Hey. Feels good to be back on the radio, man.
Yeah, it feels really good.
Indeed, it does.
Oh, I've gotten all kinds of hate letters because I was absent, man.
Yeah. No, listen, we took a brief sabbatical, but we're back on it now.
Feels fresh. Feels fresh.
It feels good.
It does feel good.
I was having withdrawals.
Oh, damn.
I'm having alcohol withdrawals because we're sober again.
We're sober
I'm not sure I like that.
What's up, Dre?
What up?
Damn, I haven't seen you in a while.
You look different, dude.
I love that face.
I think
You look
all of
different.
us, it's this weird rejuvenative thing we got going today.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, it feels energetic. I like it.
Yeah, I took one of my uber cold showers on the way before
Damn.
coming
really?
here, and so I got way cold just to wake myself up
to
be
wash
able
the
to do
dirty
this.
away, huh?
That's there's,
Were you crying?
There's too much dirty. Yeah.
Wash the dirty.
I do that.
So dirty.
I do that. I think you're supposed to do that with hot showers, aren't you?
All you're screaming is unclean,
No.
unclean.
Well, that was mostly through my entire adolescence. That was 12 and onward. Actually, I blocked out a lot of those memories. Thanks for bringing them up.
Hey, the
of
cold
course.
showers wiped his memory. See, it's pretty good
there you
stuff.
go.
It is effective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you all for joining us. We are back here on the JAG Radio Show, coming back at you guys with the good stuff you love and a lot of the stuff that you hate. That mostly comes out of me, but that's okay. Now that we are back, I wanted to clarify something with George Antonio, and bring up something that you generally talk about, George, which is, and we delved into it, to be fair to you, a little bit last week. But the idea, again, that you create your own reality. And the part that I wanted to clarify with the listeners, especially regarding the type of show we do, is the idea that your thinking creates your reality feels to me a little bit like... I don't want the listeners to get the impression that when you want something in life, you can just sit back and sit on your ass and it'll eventually come to you as long as you think good thoughts. Because I feel like in recent years, within the last decade certainly, there's been an explosion in the self-help movement originated by books like The Secret that seem to perpetuate the idea that you don't really have to do anything, that you just change the way you think, man, and life will be way better, man. And I really don't want to give the listeners that impression.
That's actually pretty accurate because there's been a lot of criticism of that movement with the Secret, because
it's crap.
Because it's been very, very condensed just to get the marketing, like the commercialness of it to excite the masses, but there's a lot to it. Like what Alex just mentioned, you gotta do something, man. You really gotta do something. But your thoughts do affect you, right? Because actually, I was talking to Lameni last night. We were at an outreach event.
Who's
and
Lameni?
Lameni?
That's Chili Lamelli.
That's his.
You mean Lomelli?
All right.
Yeah. No, he actually.
You mean Smelly Lamelli.
Trini Lamelli might come in today.
Oh, okay, cool.
He's a frequent contributor to our show. For
Oh,
those
yeah.
of you
We love that guy.
that know him, know who he is. He may just stop in. But
Yeah.
so you were doing.
So
you.
we were doing an outreach, and so we're out there just fucking hustling our shit, and we're like, we don't want to fucking go, right? Because we're feeling all burnt out or whatever, and kind of like, I guess maybe thinking negatively about it, right? So we're like, God damn it, we're not gonna get this company off the fucking floor unless we get out there and fucking hustle, right?
Right.
So that's what we did. We went out there. Nonetheless,
This company being Good Geeks.
goodgeeks.com.
Goodgeeks.com.
What can I get at goodgeeks.com?
That's Good
Good Geeks.
Geeks with the GOODK. Well, what the fuck? GEKZ?
And
What
a
the
little
fuck? I didn't
K
get
though.
spelling
It's
anymore.
fucking
GEEGEEKZ.com.
That's why he's a professional.
Jeff
That's
Jerry.
right. That's
That
why
That was
he's
really
the top
good,
right
actually.
there. But I was talking about Lamelli. I can't even fucking say his name.
You're not
know-
even drunk.
I know,
yeah.
what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, no shit. Like the day before, I was kind of bummed out in the office. He was out, and I was bummed off in the office, just thinking about, fuck, we didn't have any sales today, right?
Okay.
And I was just pacing back and forth and just fucking getting into my whole head situation of like, how am I gonna fucking get marketing? How am I gonna get these fucking sales out? How am I, blah blah blah. So this is spinning off the reality thing. You make your own reality. So
Okay.
I was in this kind of like, I don't want to say a depression, but a frustration, a pretty deep frustration, where when you're in that mindset, you can't see outside, right? You
Yeah.
can't see possibilities. You're blind to them, literally.
Right.
So, in a very simple sense, your mind, you do create your reality. So being in that position of frustration, of closedness or whatever, I couldn't see any possibilities. Wouldn't come up. No thoughts would pop up. No creativity would be had. Right.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, God damn it. So I'm like, if I know that this is my case, if I create my reality and I start pacing back and forth, I'm like, okay, I'm dismissing a lot of good shit that's happened to us, right? We've had a lot of milestones, Trini and I. Like, we've had a lot of fucking big milestones that have jumped, and we were super stoked and fucking super excited each time these milestones
And just to be
came
clear,
about.
to the listener, you and Trini are partners in Good Geeks.
We're
Full
partners.
disclosure.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man.
Partners
Thank you.
in life.
So, yeah, we're domestic partners.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, we had some milestones that came about, and we were just fucking super just beside ourselves, so excited about. But then, after all these triumphs happened, we finally started making some sales, and then the sales started coming in. They're popping in. We're like super fucking happy.
Hell yeah.
And we're making all kinds of money. So then, we had a dry day, right?
Okay.
And nothing came in, right? So I was like, God damn it, man! I'm no matter how much success you have in life, you still have your fucking down days, right? No matter what fucking happens, right?
I mean, it'd be a really nice life if you just had an infinity of updates.
Yeah, right. Just
Updates.
fucking updates like
That's
not
not really
insane.
the way
It's
life
like,
works.
God damn,
Life.
this day was better than last day,
Yeah.
but shit like that.
Yeah.
But
Eventually, you just become, by the time you're 60, you're just a glowing ball of light that is
Yeah.
pure joy.
oh yes.
Every
then-
day is better
and then,
than last.
and then you'd be fucking probably bored, man, because you want to be dark a little bit, right?
well,
so I was,
Sounds racist.
I was, yeah,
It was racist.
It was racist.
It was
bro.
very racist. huh?
Okay, continue.
But I was contemplating. I was like, you know what? I gotta appreciate this fucking down end, because if I don't, how am I gonna feel what a good end feels like, right?
Okay.
So long story short, I was pacing back and forth in the office, and I'm like, you know what? I'm projecting my own reality, so I'm gonna fucking drop this. I'm gonna be grateful for what has happened, what's led up to this particular moment, right? So I started thinking that, and I started feeling grateful for all the milestones that we've been hitting, right? And then I'd literally, in the next few minutes, some guy pops up and the cell pops up. Yeah, that's
Okay.
coincidental. You can see it that way.
Okay.
But I'm like, fuck, that was trippy, man, because in that down end, that's all I had was reflecting back to me was walls.
Okay.
Like no solutions, no creativity. And then someone calls out. Once I spun it around, saying I'm going to be grateful for what I got. Right, I had all these great milestones coming about, and I did feel a shift in me. Like, meaning I'm like, okay, I'm not in that headstrong fucking dense place anymore.
Okay.
I felt outside of it, right? And then boom, a cell comes in the next 5-10 minutes.
Do you think? Oh, so you're.
So I'm
are you-
attributing that shift to I felt probability coming about. I felt abundant, right? Because I'm like, all
Okay.
this great shit happened to me. I shouldn't discount this shit that's happened to me, right?
Okay.
So in that state, boom, a sale comes in through the phone, right? Their phone rings and I get a sale, right? So
A sale.
A sale, yeah.
Okay.
We had
it sounds like you're saying cell, like cell phone.
Sorry, dude.
Sale.
Yeah, I heard sell first. Yeah, I was
God damn, dude.
oh,
Really?
man, you
Fuck.
went to
I'm
prison,
really
huh?
slurring today. I didn't drink anything.
You spend
God
too
damn
much
it.
time with Hispanics.
Yeah, I know.
A sale is a cell
Asale.
in the city of LA.
So, are you in the belief that positive energy in general brings more positive
You create your
things?
reality. So I think, had I not changed my internal, like, I guess my state,
Uh-huh.
I would have still been in that piece, that moment of frustration, and I
Right.
wouldn't have been out of it, right?
And do you think you still would have gotten that cell?
See, that's a great question. I don't know. Because I do realize that we jump from parallel reality to reality,
well-
right? See,
I love how
that's me.
casually
That's
you
me.
said some
That's
horse
me.
I knew
shit.
you
Yeah.
was gonna say
It
something.
was like,
Yeah,
well,
I have to
see,
say that. I
the
have to say
fact
that.
of the matter is, we're constantly shifting realities,
We're
right?
constantly shifting reality, so therefore I
As
shifted
per-
into another reality
As per
that
absolute
phone
no,
call was there.
as per absolute no scientist
Yeah, I know.
research ever, you jackass.
But,
no, it's okay. I'm with you in the following place where
Yeah.
I do like the idea of looking at the downturns as almost a
Precursor.
no. That I guess that would work too. But what I mean is the best beer you have at the end of your day is after you've worked 16 hours.
Yeah.
Meaning, after you've gone through something grueling, there is the sense afterward that whatever good comes, you've earned that. As opposed to the weird and awkward beer you have when you roll out of bed at 11 a.m., have done nothing, and you crack open a tall boy. That's more... that makes you feel like a loser. That makes you feel like, man, my life sucks. I can't, you'd have to start doing some self-reflection at that point.
I totally agree. Whenever I go to play soccer,
Oh, damn.
when I go to play
On the
soccer
video
after
game,
soccer, we
PlayStation soccer,
just
dude?
hit up like Fridays or whatever.
Right.
And I get myself a nice cold tall beer.
Right.
And it feels so
Oh,
great.
so
It
fucking
feels so refreshing.
satisfying.
And I'm
Yeah.
fucking thirsty as fuck, but it's a satisfaction at the end of an accomplishment that there's no feeling like it, man.
Absolutely. Even if it's just something recreational like that.
Right.
Even if it's just, I've told the story before when I was hiking with Poetic Smooth, now known as Young Smooth. Shout out Eric and Roman, and
Damn,
everybody
AKA
check
Young
him
Smooth,
out.
huh?
He's actually been on this show. If you guys
Yeah.
Formerly
watched
named
once.
now? He changed his name?
Yeah, he changed
Yeah,
his name to
he's-
Young,
alright.
Young Smooth.
More
I
power to
know.
him.
I keep telling him it sounds
he's
like
going to be a symbol soon, man.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
gonna be. He's gonna be.
He's gonna be
a
young
hashtag
and
or something.
smooth.
Yeah.
He's gonna be.
But I am with you in that respect, in that and I mean, look, it's if there is any power in positive thinking, it's that, which is life will throw you curveballs, and there will be down moments. Now, you can take those down moments and wallow in your own misery and sort of flounder around in how shitty everything is, or you can decide, I made it this far, I've made it to this point, and I've had a lot of good shit happen to me along the way. Why don't I focus on that as opposed to focusing on all the shitty
On the
things?
shit, yeah.
Right.
Which is, and I get the reason why people don't, I think, is because it's harder in those moments to focus on the good stuff.
I think people don't realize that that's the matrix of it. I mean, at least for me, it's like I can't feel creative or find solutions to things being in the problem mindset, right? Like in that down mindset.
Your
right?
mind is just cluttered with
It's
all these
completely
negative...
cluttered,
Yeah.
spinning in every possible direction. I'm fucking Mr. ADD, so I'm like spinning. I'm
Yeah.
processing shit simultaneously. So shifting out of that, I realize from the past it's just not productive. So it's doing me a disservice. So I shift out of it.
So, and you think it has a direct effect on
your-
the
I think
outside
on your reality.
world. I
Yeah.
see. That's the part that I think is a wild leap for me, and
Yeah.
probably a wild leap for the listeners. Now, I would say I don't think there is a connection. I think that guy would have approached your booth no matter what
Yeah,
at that
regardless.
time of day, because
it's hard to. I mean, you can't.
well, it
it's
would
impossible
almost
to tell. Yeah.
no. Well, it
Yeah.
would no. You,
Yeah.
I think you can do he has free will math, right? He decided to go to your booth. You didn't decide for him.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't it mean that if you could just change the way you think and
It was a phone call, by the way,
You
right?
changed the
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
decided to call you from wherever he
Yeah.
was. Now, wouldn't it? It would mean then that you could somehow exert your will on other people. based on what you're thinking, which I don't
You know,
believe.
it's like the odd thing was that it was like maybe 4 o'clock, and I'd been in the office since 8 a.m. Right, in this fucking dry like desert, no calls or anything.
Okay.
Then I guess I changed my state or
Sahara
whatever.
phone
and then
booth.
boom, this fucking dude calls in like maybe 10 minutes later.
Okay.
So I mean that's very coincidental.
No, that's
it could
to
be
me.
yeah.
That to me is the. There hasn't been any rain for the last 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and we did the rain dance, and now the gods have smiled upon us, and the rain came.
Yeah.
And I think that appeals to the more primitive parts of the human brain.
But getting back to the secret
and
thing,
we're still primitive. Our brain thinks we're still out in the Serengeti or the Havana, as it is popularly known on this show,
quote unquote.
So it's easy to think, well, I've been seeing. I saw the number 4 every day today, so I went to the horse race, to the racetrack, and I bet on the 4th horse in the 4th race at 4:44 p.m.
Damn.
And my horse came in 4th.
Perfect.
So
Very consistent.
It can shit on you, I think,
Yeah.
to put too much energy on that sort of thinking. But the point I was trying to make, and the reason why I bring this up is I think you would agree, right, George, that regardless of good or bad thinking, you want something done, go out and earn it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to get into that mindset. But I think when you're down in the dumps, action, action isn't possible. I don't think proper action is possible. At least clear, progressive action isn't possible.
Right.
If you're in a mindset, at least from my own
Meaning in a
experience,
negative mindset.
yeah, if you're in a negative mindset, you're working out of desperation, and desperation, action in desperation, doesn't seem to be productive, man.
Well,
at least to me.
to a certain extent, desperation can help you. I mean, I think, look, when I talk about very often how men are the breadwinners in the society, and they generally speaking will work harder than women, the counterpoint that most people throw my way is, hey man, well, what about the single mom who had to raise 3 kids on her own? You're telling me she doesn't work hard? No, I'm not saying that, but in fact, I will agree with you, but I will throw in the caveat that it is not exactly ambition doing that, but desperation.
Yeah.
In other words, this woman doesn't want to lose her roof. She doesn't want to end up homeless with 3 kids. She wants to feed these kids. And that is a state of, anxiety. It's an anxiety-ridden state that forces you to get your ass going. Now, a little bit of that is good for people, I think. A little bit of the kick in the ass, a little bit of the, what goes back to our money discussion.
Yeah.
Where I would say, well, it's better to have the $1 million Lamborghini in the driveway than the $1 million in the bank for most people. Why? Because the $1 million in the bank represents a cushion, which represents I don't have to do much. I'm rich. It gets you, not everyone, not a Donald Trump, maybe not a George Antonio, but a lot of people would see that and think to themselves, I don't really have to do much. I don't have to work today. I can lean back. I can do whatever. Whereas if I get the Lambo and I have nothing, I still have bills, which means I still got to keep working. I still got to keep moving. Now, it's a fine line because you can also overdo it and create single mother conditions in your own life.
Yeah.
As a single guy with no children,
Right.
you can put yourself in too deep a hole, and then you're losing your house, and the repo man's coming and taking away my beautiful yellow race car. Son of a bitch.
Elaborating on that, you like say the guy blows all his money on the Lambo, right? So therefore his
Not blows. Uses.
Invest.
Well, uses
Bad
uses
investment, but
to light a fire under his own ass.
yeah. So say that guy, like he's a hustler. He's like, fuck, I gotta go make another million. If you're working, if your action is based on I gotta make another fucking million,
Right.
you're gonna get that fucking million. Nothing's
Yeah.
gonna stop you.
Right.
But if you're like, fuck, I gotta go fucking work trying to make a million because I'm fucking in debt $1 million, right? And that type of mindset isn't the same type of action. I don't think that you can get the same results out of that. If you had parallel like people running under one that is just looking to make the money, already imagining the money in their account and in their
Right.
fucking hands, and this other guy's like, I gotta do fucking something because I owe $1 million. So
that's where the desperation
I
comes
think if we had an experience, if that was possible, you would get different results entirely, man.
I would agree, only because, but not for any mystical reason, not because your thinking affects the world, but your thinking, when you're desperate, you do dumb shit.
Yeah.
And when you do dumb shit, you make mistakes.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you make mistakes and you're talking that kind of money, you pay big. Especially when you're, if we're taking your metaphor of the guy who's already got several million, well, it was originally my metaphor, to be fair, but he's already got several million, need, and maybe that's what this is. I'm thinking maybe that's what these guys mean when they say that, although I wouldn't give them that much credit. But it's when you come from a position of need, it might be you're more likely to fuck up, not thinking straight.
The proposition of gambling, right? When you're playing, when you have money and you feel like you're on a hot roll, it's mind blowing. But I've been in Vegas where these guys are hot. They're just fucking excited. The whole table's super stoked and excited. Yeah. They're making money at that table, and oddly enough, a series of rolls, right, random rolls, just seem to perpetuate the excitement in the table. But when there's others where there's tables that are fucking just burned out and people are just fucking pissed and starting to leave and shit, no one gets close to those tables at all.
I'll tell you what.
So there's something weird with that, man.
I'm going to throw you a lob. I'm going to throw you an easy one. Tell your domino story.
Oh, shit, that domino story.
Domino, motherfucker.
Domino Pizza. Right, so they're not a commercial, but we're looking for sponsors from Domino's Pizza. So the thing is, I had one day I was.
Times when George is the most awkward human being.
I know that was awkward. I felt. You know what? I was going after comedy in a lack mentality. There it is, dude. There it was.
Are you always going after comedy in a lack mentality?
Yes, it is. It's true. So there was this one event that I think it was a New Year's Eve or something like that, and it was a bunch of Cubans in a fucking house drinking rum and smoking cigars and shit. I was at Dre's house, man.
That's what they were. Yeah. It was at your house.
Dre was doing Santeria in the back room.
That
wasn't Santeria, bro.
Nice.
Not like the.
So I was fucking high. I was fucking on rum and fucking cigars, and I was just fucking dizzy. And so I was sitting at a table, probably at least it seemed like a good 15 people to 20 people roughly at the table, and everybody's fucking having a good time or whatever. And everybody had a pile of dominoes. I don't know how many sets they were playing with, but they were piling it all in there. Shit. And the thing was I don't know why Cubans love dominoes for some reason. It seems bizarre to me,
I don't
right?
know.
What the fuck is that, by the way?
It goes back.
Yeah, it goes back, I guess, right?
I just like setting up the dominoes to knock them down.
Yeah, no.
Domino Alley. Yeah. Remember Domino Alley?
It seems very ancient. I mean, you can think of just the most primitive peoples going way back millennia.
Stones with fucking markings
with
on
just
it,
weird
right?
markings on, and this represents this, and this represents this, and it's probably been being done for centuries.
Oh, domino.
It's like domino or whatever. So the whole point was I was fucking high as a kite, and I wasn't winning, right? So everybody else is winning, and the motherfuckers. I was in the like mentality. But apparently, I was like, you know what? I was so high that I was fucking dizzy, right? I was dizzy. I was not. I felt like I was a little bit. I would say I was high. I wasn't focused. On the table. I was like in this dream. I was in the dream, I was like a daydreamish mentality.
Meaning you were inebriated, not high like on a substance.
Yeah, inebriated.
Or high on a substance is what I'm saying. So, so you weren't in reality. You were in your own head.
I was in the, comparable to a daydream, right? Okay. I say a daydream. So I was in that daydream, and I was having a talk with myself, oddly enough, which I do all the time, actually. So the thing is
that when you're not visualizing killing people?
I know, dude.
I do stuff for myself.
Urge to kill rising.
That's a secret. That's a secret. That's a secret for those that know George.
Oh my goodness. So I was thinking, you know what? I'm going to, if I do create my own reality, I'm going to set this up to where I'm going to win 3 times in a row, right?
Okay.
So the people were randomly winning. No one won in a row, right? And at the table. And I was thinking, well, the probabilities are super fucking high, right?
Pretty fucking high.
About 15 people running piles of fucking dominoes, right? So I went ahead and said that. But it was funny when I did that because I had no expectation. I was like, but yet I didn't discount myself, right? I was like, I'm gonna win this 3 times in a row because I'm gonna will this to happen.
Right.
And then maybe 5 minutes later, while playing or whatever, the different hands, I actually won a game, and the following hand I won, right, and then I won a third hand.
So
right,
one right after the other.
Exactly, and that was fascinating to me because I was like, okay, randomly, the probabilities are fucking,
statistically,
they're
it's
just
not supposed
fucking
to
off
happen,
the roof,
like,
right?
fuck.
So, but that was interesting to me because I've heard Bashar, Daryl Anka, my little guy that I always bring up in the fucking radio cast all the time. My little guy. He's my
Dre,
little friend.
can we pull up some Bashar?
Yeah.
So he mentioned that when you're in this daydream state, that he calls it the template reality, right? That's where the matrix of reality is.
Okay.
So you in this state, and he attributes a marijuana, that same high that people get.
Really?
Yeah, and when they're on weed, that template reality. That was pretty interesting.
You think it was your own doing then, right? Your change in
well,
mentality.
I had imagined that. I was really focused on it, I guess, but maybe that would just maybe a few seconds because I was fucking high as a kite, I guess, right? But I did recall that specifically, and I do have record of that purely, and so that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I also I want to caution the listeners.
Yeah.
It's
What happened to him?
It's
Bashar. And then dude, Daryl, D-A. How do you spell Daryl? Daryl.
just
with a Y?
just YouTube Bashar, a bunch of shit will come
There it
up,
is.
I'm sure.
D-A-R.
But just looking for a YouTube clip. But I want to caution our listeners to be careful with what George says, because I can foresee people taking the rent money, smoking some weed, and going to Vegas, and then they're fucked. And then, but the Jag Show said I just had to think positively. What the fuck?
It wasn't us.
But going back to the,
so be careful with all that.
So going back to this,
and don't read The Secret. It's
yeah,
crap.
God damn it. So going back to The Secret, that's the downfall of that program, is because people in a lack mindset, they're wishing for certain things to happen to them, money coming through the fucking mailbox or whatever the hell.
And it's not.
But you can't, because you're in a lack mentality. You have to find some way to shift over into an abundance mentality and focus from there, right? And that's what they kind of explain with that.
Or how about going out and working your ass off?
Yeah,
No, but I think, to be fair to you, you're saying go out and do the work. You are saying go out and do the work.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But have I guess be positive.
When you're positive, work is fucking fun.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's fun. I mean, it shouldn't be laborious in any way. I mean, when you're working out, like, let's take weights for example. You're fucking lifting some heavy ass weights, but it's gratifying to a certain degree. You're not fucking hating it.
Right.
I mean, the hell you're not. It sucks. It's not. You don't feel.
It sucks.
You don't feel good until afterward. The reward is after the act.
So you don't enjoy like all that resistance and like your muscles trembling and shit?
Sorry, it's fucking agony. Says get underneath. Listen, everybody out there, if you like lifting weights, pick a weight that you can do 10 solid ass to the grass squats with, right? 10 solid good reps, and stay under that bitch and go for 20. And tell me you're not in complete and utter agony, no matter how positively you think. But that's not the point. The point is when you do it, when you pull it off, and you can't even stand, your legs can't support your own body weight, and you're on the ground at the gym, and everyone thinks you're insane.
Yeah.
You look up at that weight, and you know, I did that shit.
I made you my bitch.
That was me. God damn it, that's right. That's where satisfaction comes.
Rubber and steel.
I thought it was your bitch.
Well,
you always will
I'm
be.
sorry, Dre. He's moving on, dude.
No, he always will be. He's always in my heart.
Okay.
I think we got some Bashar.
Let's see what's up with
here.
this Bashar.
Bashar and
Actually,
psychedelics.
I think this is the
that'd
first,
be an interesting one.
This is the first time I've ever seen
No,
Bashar.
We've done it on the show before.
I've never seen a picture of that guy before.
Experience.
That's not him, dude.
Oh. Fuck.
I will. That's around there, dude.
Bashar,
That dude right there where it says 28, dude, on the right down. That's the
That
homie.
guy?
That's the homie, yeah.
That's the fucking. He's your homie? Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's my homie.
No, I think he had it. It was Bashar. Okay, key to hire
There's some
mine.
guy commenting
this
or
one?
narrating.
Yeah, just go. It's fine.
Oh, no, say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all?
So this guy's supposed to be in a trance state,
Yeah.
communicating with what?
I
What he
will take that
describes
as-
is he's asleep.
Okay.
He's not even listening to what's
No,
going on.
hold on. Drake,
We thank you.
pause it real quick. Hold on. Explain to the listener what we're seeing here.
Bashar, Daryl Lanko, that's the guy that you see on there on screen.
The homie.
I don't know. Everybody's a homie now,
The
man.
homie?
Jesus Christ. So he's the guy on the guy on the screen. He had
who is he?
back in the 80s. He had he was riding his bike with his buddies, and he had this triangular UFO hover maybe 100 feet over his head.
Okay.
Right, and he's like, fuck, am I insane? I mean, had he not had his friends with him, he thought he'd fucking be tripping, right?
Okay.
So it had happened. They all recognized it too.
George, just speak normally. Don't try to sound cool, would you? Just speak like you normally speak.
Yeah.
He thought he'd fucking be tripping. No, just speak like you
All
normally.
right, God damn it. Fuck.
Come on,
man.
buddy.
Speaks the way
go.
that he wants to.
Oh, it's all acceptance, man. I'm trying to get the young crowd in here.
Yeah,
I was trying.
I like that
but-
shirt.
Thank you, bro. So the thing was, he experienced that, and that was kind of interesting to him. So then it happened on a few other occasions. So that, before that had happened, he was just a standard guy working in the Hollywood scene, doing sci-fi makeup and shit like that.
Okay.
So that experience drew him to finding out what the fuck it was. And that led him to go into these channeled meetings with these people to learn how to channel. And he was in one of these events one day, and I guess he was so into this trance thing. No. There was the instructor he was channeling, and he looked directly at Daryl. He goes, "There's someone here wanting to talk to you."
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So, and that was Bashar, which is the entity he's theoretically channeling, right?
And that's what we're seeing here is him
That's
channeling that
correct.
energy. Okay.
And then go ahead.
So right now he's in a trance.
He's in a
state.
trance, so he eventually got to the point where he can do that regularly.
And Bashar is a what exactly?
He's an ET that's probably going to be the third
Oh, no, take a
species
day.
that comes to visit us in maybe in the next 30 years.
Sounds good. What do we got here?
I will take that as okay.
Oh, alien joke.
We thank you, each and every one of you individually, all of you together collectively, for the co-creation of this interaction. Once again, each and every time your civilization interacts with our civilization in this way, it creates a link, a bridge, and a third reality in which we can, one day, interact more and more closely, more and more immediately. So we thank you for the co-creation of this new paradigm, this new reality in which we can all together learn to play.
Oddly enough, the personality
day of your time,
the personality
this
he's going
transmission
through, right?
will
That's
begin
popping through.
With a discussion
It's very distinct
of
from his normal personality.
imagination.
What's his normal?
Now we
He's
have
very timid, very
talked about imagination
very
many times.
shy.
We would
Really?
like to
Yeah.
take the concept a little bit further
the
this day of
hell?
your time. We have reminded you of the synchronicity in many of the words that exist in various languages on your planet. We understand the channel's language.
Oh, this is weird. Okay, hold
He's
on.
like a Scottish game
stop
show
this real
host.
quick. There's one where he talks about weed, right?
Yeah.
So look up Bashar and weed, Jason. Since we're on the Super Audio
Yeah.
Network.
They've wired up his they've done
What
brain
does that
scans on
mean?
him. They've done brain scans on him when he's channeling and
Okay.
in his normal state. In his channeling state, his brain is fucking alive, man.
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
lighting up
blown
like crazy.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
interesting.
That is
really?
Yeah.
interesting.
So they did like an MRI or
They've
something
done
like that
scans
when
on
he
him.
was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Did-
trippy shit. So they know something's going on. He's tapping into something that's stimulating lobes and shit that normally isn't stimulating.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. See
Daryl
that I find fascinating.
Well, you and I think we mentioned one time this. What the hell is that doctor guy that has a fucking primetime show every fucking day?
Dr. Oz?
Oz, that dude. He had some psychic chick on there. I never knew who the hell she was. I really don't know her name either.
He
but
was fucking her.
yeah, oh, damn, dude, I didn't
Probably.
know that.
He
Fuck.
probably was, dude.
Whoa.
Allegedly.
But he had someone scan, some prominent physician scan this lady while she was channeling, or not channeling, but readings. I guess getting contact from the other side to do readings for people in the audience,
Uh-huh.
and her mind was blown up. It's like it's blown up. Activity that normally in her conscious state didn't work. So they knew something was going on when she was pulling out information. They just don't know where it's coming from or whatever, you know. So I think our mind has some capabilities that our brain has some capabilities that we just haven't tapped quite yet.
It's quite possible. I mean, it's kind of interesting. Like there was one time that I saw a psychic reading in thermal vision.
Oh, fascinating.
And
right.
so when the psychic started to read the person that he was reading, you can see the energy. You can literally see the energy go from the psychic
no
and travel
fucking way
to the guy that he was reading. And it was all connected in the same light surrounding in the thermal energy.
So it was like infrared.
I'm scared.
That's yeah.
No, dude, don't do it, bro. I'm going to connect with you, man.
It's all right, Dre. Dre's having trouble finding anything.
Right.
Really
See, I'm talking about weed.
But that particular clip is fascinating because he describes what I just mentioned a while ago was when people are taking weed, they're in this template reality. He goes, the thing is that don't take weed all the time, right? To get back to that template reality, because that's a place where we all feel at home, right? That's that's when, I always believe that people take shit just to feel comfortable with themselves, right? And so
I think that says more about you.
Really?
Yeah, because that must.
I mean,
mean
it's to relax somehow, right?
But
To get out of the
what
normal
I'm saying
state.
is, when you say to feel comfortable with themselves, that must mean that your day-to-day living, you don't feel comfortable with yourself.
That's why I
that's
believe.
true.
I mean, like for example, alcoholics, man. They usually drink because they're feeling awkward and they want to feel relief, and they. So
typically drink. Tell us why we drink.
Let me tell you why. But I, it's obviously there's some reason why people go take any type of substance to feel altered, right? There has to be, because I mean they just don't feel comfortable in their normal state.
And according to you, it's because day-to-day life is tougher to deal with, which is
I
the
believe
case.
It is. I think it is.
No, it's although when you get into full-on alcoholism, I think it's way beyond that. But talking about
so in that video, basically, that weed video, he's describing that to this one dude, that stoner guy, that you get into this template reality. And he described the entire process of that's where you make your reality, right? And to not basically take too much weed because, or better said, the more weed you take to try to reproduce that template reality is useless.
What's Engineer Dre doing over there?
Oh, damn, he's burning some
What is he doing?
I think you inspired him.
I think he's inspired.
Yes,
he wants to go into template reality.
He's gonna get into his template reality.
That's right.
The show is evolving. He's
because everyday life is hard to deal with.
Yeah, he's creating his next show right now.
I don't know. I just think it's just the state of mind that you're in whenever you're taking whatever substance. Because if you're mad at the world and you drink, you're not gonna feel better. You're gonna want to fuck shit up.
Feel like shit.
If you're smoking weed and you're worried about bills, you're just gonna fucking worry even more about it. You're just gonna be nonstop thinking about it. Well, at least I do.
That's you.
That's
I
the
think.
paranoia kicking in. Right
Yeah, dude. You react badly to weed.
I do.
If I'm worried about something, I smoke weed. I ain't worried about shit.
Nah,
I'm relaxed.
I start thinking about every possible thing that's gonna go fucking wrong.
It's almost like the opposite.
That's horrible.
I know.
Christ.
I
God
know.
almighty. No, but that's actually why, despite the network we're on, I don't smoke marijuana during the show because I'm not going to want to talk or do anything.
Yeah,
I'm going to want to just sit
you
here.
just want to be.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic, man. It's a fantastic place you're in.
Sorry, guys. We're going to start implementing drug tests after the show.
God damn it.
If you guys don't test positive, we're going to have to fire you.
Fuck.
Somehow doubt that.
We're gonna get fake urine. Fake urine. Where's that fake piss at?
Damn.
Yeah. No, speaking of success, though, or the other end, when you're not a stoner, maybe you're a teeny bit more. Well, I don't know. Joe Rogan would, I think, beg to differ. But I was sober today.
Oh, damn.
And we are sober today. And I was listening to these. Those of you who listen to AM radio on the weekends will know that the stations are littered with financial shows, which are really infomercials, but they sort of pass themselves off as financial shows a lot of the time. And this one was talking about retirement.
Okay.
And how, the guy was going off of the premise that you work till 65. And the way he put it, I'm not going to name names. He's actually fairly well known. But the way this broadcaster put it was, I want retirement to be your second childhood. I want it to be the period in your life where I think what he said was something like your childhood without adult supervision, I believe was his exact phrasing. And essentially meaning, you
be careless and have
right.
fun. Yeah.
But as an old guy, and if I may quote Grand Theft Auto, One of the commercials on GTA, on one of the GTAs, was for one of the radio stations. Ironically, was for the classic rock station, and the voice goes between songs. There was a voice that goes, "You've worked hard your whole life, and you can finally afford that nice convertible, but you're just too damn old to get any decent pussy. This is hit radio." And I thought to myself, God damn, it must be such a weird way to go through life, to think that I'm going to work my entire life and I'm not going to be able to have any fun until I'm old. You know what I mean? And it seems fairly miserable, and it also seems out of step with the way society is going. Meaning, people are living longer than they have ever lived, right. Which is good. I mean, which maybe supports this paradigm, because if you retire at 65 and then you live till 95, which I suspect everybody in this room will live to 100 or above.
Not me.
Even Dre and Jay. But I suspect that is the case, and I think that's the case for most people. But I don't know. I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on that, because it seems like a weird way to sort of, because we do live in a society that is really, we're in the gig economy, right? Yep. So you should be able to, or you will be able to get gigs even into your old age, theoretically.
Right.
But what do you guys think about traditional retirement?
I think it's a bunch of shit. I think it's created. I think it was created to get you off the workforce, right?
Okay.
I believe that. I mean, I personally never want to fucking retire.
Right.
I mean, I want to work until I can't show up the next day to work because I'm dead.
Because you're dead.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is,
because I enjoy what I do.
Because of the fact that people are living longer, and you work your whole life to save up a certain amount of money. Back then, once you retired, you're close to fucking death. You're not going to spend all your retirement money. Now you're living longer. You need to save up even more money. How are you going to do that?
This crux is hilarious.
I think they're going to push back the age of retirement to a little further. They're going to have to.
Check this out. I was talking to my father-in-law the other day, and he was saying in Mexico, check this out. If you live past 118 years old, your fucking retirement, like your compensate or your retirement or whatever, all your funds that you get from the government or whatever,
right.
they're dropped. You've outlived your fucking
wow.
your span.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you
so
get it
you're
from
fucked. You die homeless.
Yeah,
and
so
old.
the thing is, apparently these people are living past 118 and shit.
Holy
that can't be true.
Shit.
He says there's this he just saw this person on the news that they're about on the 118 cusp, and their funds, their support is gonna go out the fucking window.
That's
fucking
well, you gotta
insane.
have an end, dude. You gotta have an end.
Well,
come on.
That's still pretty fucked up.
No. Let your kids take care of you at that point.
Oh, well, I mean,
no way.
Unless they outlived their kids.
I think you've outlived their kids, man.
Fuck old grandma. Fuck super old grandma.
Fuck old grandma.
No, and also at that point, you've probably knowing Mexicans, there's probably 4 generations past that woman. So those kids don't even know who that woman is.
Yeah.
Some of those kids might have come to America 2 generations ago.
Yeah.
They're gone. They're long gone. Grandma's man.
But I foresee if we do start surpassing the century mark, I see that shit happening, man, in the U.S. I do see that shit.
You see a cap on Social Security?
Yeah, I do. Definitely
in terms of age?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Damn.
No, you know what? I mean, I wouldn't. To Dre, I think the point Dre was making was that it's not infinite money.
Yeah.
It's eventually, we eventually do. And it's sad because the longer you wait to cut someone off, the sadder it becomes, in a sense. The more horrible it becomes.
Right.
But there is an argument to be made on the side of we eventually have to stop doling it out.
Yep.
It's as much as, I mean, look, if it were up to me, you make it to 118, I say double it. You've earned it. Take someone else's. Take some of mine.
Check it out. Check it out. Yesterday, Trini and I bumped into serendipitously this one guy. Turned out to be our customer, but he was a marketer for Ultimate, that one, that clinic chain, right?
Yeah.
And he says, "Fuck, man." He goes, "People, if you're old, and you fucking find your way to them and you get onto their system," he goes, "it's like a fucking healthcare lottery." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "There's no fucking caps for shit there." He goes, "Normally insurance companies have like $1 million cap, $7 million cap,
right?
But it's like they can be taken care of like 10 million plus as long as it's medically necessary, right?
Holy
but the whole thing is this: it's like, you know, I see their plan. Their plan is primarily keep people healthy so they won't wind up in emergency fucking emergency care, right? Hospital care, right? Which costs the federal government super, compounded costs, right?
Right.
And so that's their strategy. Goes the first year that someone becomes a member with them, the business is at a negative. But once they pass that, they pass that
mark,
that gate, I guess. It becomes profitable for that company. Wow. So they want to keep you alive and healthy as much as possible so they can cash in, right? But it saves the taxpayer eventually more money than going to the emergency care or whatever.
Now let me say this: you know why they want you to live a long time, right?
Tell me, man.
Because they can harvest your body parts. They can harvest your blood. It makes the old people younger.
Damn.
They can harvest your penis now. They could deal with the penis transplant now.
Oh, damn.
Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Gee, Dre, tell us a little bit about that.
There was a black.
That's really interesting.
Check this out. There was a black dude who didn't have a penis his whole life. He lost it when he was a kid because
I did hear about that.
It was a botched circumcision.
That's
so
right.
for 17 years of his life, he didn't have a penis. 18 years old, he got a penis. But it's a white guy.
It's a white guy's penis.
White guy's.
Well, at least it's not an Asian guy.
So the guy's gonna get it tattooed or whatever. People are like, "You're dumb, dude. You should do porn. You should make it you're one of a kind. You're a unicorn." What would you, if you had a different color penis, would you change it so it could match you, or would you just rock it?
I'd be in porn.
Yeah.
What about you?
I don't know, man. Having a fucking
be a porn
black
star too,
dong,
man.
hell yeah.
What about you, Alex?
You give Dre the mic for a minute and it becomes penis talk.
But check it out.
He adds a dynamic.
But check it out. It could be as easy as getting a new penis or doing 15 and pregnant or whatever that show is.
Well, at least you didn't get something with VD on it. And I'd be fucked if it had a sore already on it. It's like, couldn't you give me something fucking better? God damn it!
This dick has genital warts.
Fuck! So now I have genital warts. Fuck!
This dick had crabs. Fuck.
I haven't fucked all my life and I got VD. What the fuck?
Oh my
Jesus!
I feel
It
like
burns when I pee.
I might have.
Back to you guys.
This isn't normal. I've never had a dick. I don't know what it feels like. How do you pee at that point?
Back to you. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He probably just had
It's
some
razor blades.
kind of Jesus Christ. He probably just had some kind of weird nub.
Yeah.
Oh man, and now he does again.
Oh well.
In a different variety. Yeah, speaking of controversial topics, Kathy Griffin, man.
Oh,
she's
yeah,
awesome,
that
man. She's
picture.
hilarious.
Yeah, what do you guys think?
It seriously affected her, and I mean,
Dre, can you pull up a picture real quick of the head, Kathy Griffin with the head of Donald Trump?
I think she's just going for cheap, like fucking cheap marketing.
Please, that's been her whole fucking career.
Well, that's just
they call it what, political porn or something like that. They call it that.
Yeah, it's we're referring what we're referring to is last week Kathy Griffin tweeted out or Instagrammed out or something a picture of herself with a fake decapitated head of Donald Trump. I'm looking at it now.
No, but yeah, she's really regretting it right now because they've pulled a lot of shows, sponsors have pulled out just because of this, because Donald Trump started bitching and.
But did you guys watch her I guess her aftermath on television with her lawyer?
Like,
that fucking disaster with Lisa Bloom.
That was craziness, man.
I never saw it.
Press conference.
She was basically saying that Trump forced her to do that. He was putting pressure on her career all her life, and just craziness, man.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's a really interesting thing. I'm looking at the picture right now. Oh wow, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah,
Jesus
it's pretty fucking gory, man.
Christ. Wow. Okay. Wow. And her expression is deadpan serious. She's like, yes, this must. It's like a Game of Thrones. Like it had to be done. Like she herself just came from the guillotine, just took the head out of the basket and held it up for the camera and was like, I had to. I'm still. It was like I had. God, fucking George. Wait. Okay, everybody for future shows, let people finish their sentences before you chime in, would you please?
George's face is priceless. Like, what did I do?
God damn.
What's going on?
Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No. Do you guys think that's all right?
Ruin my podcast.
Do you guys think that's all right to do that for anyone on television?
I see. I think she was well within creative license. It's
I think so, too.
It's disturbing. It's super edgy. It's gruesome as hell. And see, the thing about it is, it looks real. I think that's
Yeah, it
what
looks
really
pretty real.
disturbed
Pretty
people.
fucking real, yeah.
But at the same time, where and look, it's in bad taste. It is fine, but where I disagree with what happened to her is, I don't think an entertainer should lose any work because they pulled something like that.
Right.
I think that because the argument being made for people that are against it is, well, this is threatening the life of the U.S. president. And I don't think, does anyone really think Kathy Griffin wants to kill Donald Trump? Really? Like, all you needed to do was, look, the Secret Service talked to her, fine. I'm okay with that. Give her the bitch a little scare, fine, big deal. But, even people, even leftists, like Anderson Cooper called her disgusting, apparently, or something like that. And I thought, and she cried because they were good friends. And I thought to myself, that's a bit, I mean, really? Like, does anyone really think this is a threat to the I mean, come on, man. There's people climbing the fence and with knives and shit and guns. That's a threat, not what she's doing.
That's right up there with Snoop had this fucking video where he was blowing the brains out of some Trump impersonator.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that probably just takes disgust into a new level, man. Right?
And I would say that's way worse. Right? I mean,
well, that's right up there with that, dude.
Right.
So what does that tell you about society? You know,
where's that going, man?
Men and women.
That people can't. Everybody's so fucking hypersensitive now.
It's true.
And I sort of fucking cry. Some of the people saying she's threatening the life of the president. I think if you were to corner them and like really grill them, I don't think they even believe that. I think it's become, look, it's the mob mentality, meaning, again, going back to the primitive parts of the human brain that sort of make us do primitive things. We see a pariah, it's lynch them, you know, tar and feather them, burn them at the stake. It's that same, like, burn her, she's a witch. It's that same mentality. And it's like, she poses zero threat to the president whatsoever. She's a fucking comedian, and not a good one but she's
horrible.
Right.
I don't like her.
And you know, it's really, we've created a society of like uber sensitive pansies.
You know, I think that comes from
everything is offensive and nothing can be a joke and so forth.
That all starts to come from the ISIS shit that's happening, right? I think that's where it's kind of all stemming from, because you know that level of just destruction is pretty up there. Right? And it's desensitizing a lot of people because, like, for example, the Game of Thrones, right? I mean, comparing that picture to the Game of Thrones, they do that shit all the time. Right. So people, I mean, I don't really see any difference between those two, right?
Because there isn't. There isn't one. Yeah. And by the way, once I see a flight itinerary with Kathy Griffin's name headed to the Middle East and a bunch of burqas in her closet, then I'll believe, okay, there may be some ISIS connection here. There's something we need to look into.
But I think people do find some sort of objection to public people, though, right? Because if it was a Joe Smo with a decapitated head, they'd give a fucking rat's ass.
Yeah, no, and it's why? Because a public figure is easier to tar and feather.
Yeah,
I mean, she did herself no favors by doing that fucking press conference. It just made her sound insane.
Yeah, she's really off.
Her
dude.
and Lisa Bloom was angry as hell. Her and her mom going to these weird feminist defenses. You know, and they pulled the "I'm a woman" card, which I thought, really.
Do you think that was? Here's a question. Do you guys think that was a show? Right? Do you think that's really her reality, or do you think that's her show? She's just impersonating this to kind of be like downplaying I'm a victim. I don't know how she'd be a victim, but do you think that's kind of like to portray I'm kind of like off balance and this is my life and this is why I'm doing this? You're
reading too much into this. George does a lot. No, it's just her. She fucked up. She made a mistake. She shouldn't have done it. I don't think she should have been crucified for it. But good luck to you.
There was a fucking US
hold on
that we live in.
Hey, we're up against the clock here. One last question to you guys. Kathy Griffin, 60 years old. Would you hit it? I would.
She's too neurotic, dude.
All right, I'm down.
Yeah, right. And Dre?
Only because her face is like 20 years old, so
Yes, yeah, right with you on that.
So you do her face and not the rest of the body? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe.
We'll see how it goes.
An ear or something.
We'll play it by ear.
Maybe I'm gonna end up just skip all together and just fuck the Trump head.
That's right. And that's why we're the Jag Off team.
That's why Dre's our
Thank you so much for joining us. on another episode of the JAG Radio Show. I went George there. We'll promise to be back next week. Promise not to do that weird skipping thing again. Where can they find
Fridays
us?
at 9?
Sure.
You guys want?
Yeah,
we'll talk about it
Fridays
off air.
Yeah.
Where can they find us?
They can find us on Facebook /JAG Radio and on Twitter @JAG Radio 1, as well as the New Super Audio Network YouTube channel.
And you can find videos from Dre's archives on jagradio.com, guys.
For engineer Dre Day All Day, George Antonio, and JD Marcel, I am Alex Martinelli, reminding all of you to never stop learning.